So the overall download that I received for this message was that the Sphinx was the erosion markings at the Sphinx were caused by flooding. So the reason the Sphinx was created was during a time when the pyramids weren't receiving their flooding within the area, because the flooding of the area was an important part of making the pyramids operative and active at their best potential. And there was periods where this was dry, there was drought. This was influenced by volcanic issues that I've also had indication that they're a rising thing that can be current at the moment. But getting back to this point, it's that the actual Sphinx was created to be able to assist the pyramids to get the water to the pyramid, because in those times when there was limited water availability for whatever reasoning. The floodwater involvement on the erosion, what I'm picking up is that the rills were formed by the floodwaters. It was a long period. I'm getting a sense of a long period of floodwaters. I don't know how that occurs, if this fits, what period this dates to, but the floodwaters were occurring and they were prolonged, and it changed the topography around, which changed the banks around the Sphinx, and it caused an unusual, uncommon erosion pattern where the floodwaters were swirling, around. No, I'm saying not that one. This one, sorry. Where the waters were swirling around and... And then they came through and those waters changed the topography, as you can see here with the changes here in the white markings indicated, which then, because due to those topography changes up on the landscape, I think they did show it somewhere better here, that's right, in the topography here, in these changes here, up here, those changes caused the new movement of water when it was flowing over during these floodwater periods, because this was being fed intermittently. It was like, I'm getting the sense there was, like higher flooding times, lower flooding times, but nonetheless it was always flooding. And during that topography changes, it would then cause the water to then form these new channels that came down. Eventually, when things receded and things came back down, it leveled somewhat and balanced itself out a bit more, and then you still had those downward rills that were, which would typically, as one would think, and even in the science that I've learned, it is understood that is a clear precipitation influence. But on this occasion, I'm being told no, it was floodwaters, and it was through this long extended period that caused these changes to the topography. It was also influenced by the surface, by the winds that helped assisted, the high strong winds and the floodwater patterns that changed the water flows, changed the topography, and then that, there's your assisting hand, yep, and then that was what caused the rills to form downwards, instead of what one would think normally with the floodwaters to be much like this. Okay. So back to the Four of Swords. The further information that I'm picking up on this is that it's the combination of atmospheric deposition as well as what's coming from the actual pyramids, and that combination between the two has the influence.